Hello and welcome to episode 84 of the Critical Twits podcast, where today we return to Netrunner to discuss rotation.
Woo!
Just like all the other podcasts.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hello and welcome to the Critical Twits. I'm Brian Ennis.
I'm Aaron Vinsky.
And today we're back talking about Netrunner.
Yes.
The living card game of cyberpunk shenanigans.
Seems about appropriate.
Sounds like alliteration, which might be good.
Yeah.
Sexy cyberpunk shenanigans. Is Netrunner sexy?
If you're well into your computers, yeah, I suppose so.
Or you like cards.
Yeah. Or cybers. Or punks.
Or punks, yeah. Cool. So yeah, the sexy cyberpunk shenanigans, that is Netrunner. Now, we haven't talked about Netrunner for a while because Netrunner has been kind of up in the air a little bit.
Yeah.
There's been lots of people on the internet, so, take everything they say with a huge pinch of salt, that have declared Netrunner as being dead! Dead because there was no news and no one knew what was going to happen. And we had the last pack of the last cycle.
Yes.
So Mars was done and finished with.
Yeah.
And freed, presumably.
Yeah.
Don't know. Mars is a dangerous place.
Just made dead again.
Yeah. If you're ever on Mars, I recommend you just get to the reactor.
God.
That was awful, wasn't it?
Yes, but
Quaid. That's better, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's more like the thing.
Yeah.
It's probably not pleasant for anyone to listen to. And so there was like a lack of news for a while.
Yeah.
Which is understandable, as a living card game, Netrunner kind of needs that constant feed of what's next, new cards, how's the meta changing, all these kinds of things.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a lot of that. But it has recently been announced that the next cycle of cards has been pushed back till early next year, probably.
Yeah.
And rotation, which is the subject of our podcast today, only took me like 2.5 minutes to get there, will be happening pre-Worlds, which takes place early November.
Yeah.
So we're now in the situation where, for those people that don't know, because I like to coin this, probably should have done this at the beginning, a noob's guide to rotation, because we are still kind of Netrunner noobs. We've only been playing for a year.
Yeah.
And in the grand life cycle of Netrunner, it's like 20%. It's been out for 5 years.
Yeah.
5 years? Yeah, I'm going to say 5 years with confidence.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
So we're still in the toddler stages of Netrunner players.
We are Netrunner. We're Netrunner infants.
Yeah.
Or we could be Netrunner like school children, like being packed off with like a little lunch and a little hat. Mummy, why are you leaving me here?
I'm rotating out.
Rotated out parents who've been sent to Netrunner boarding school. Oh, that's sad. Oh, see, Critical Twits is not just about games and cards and running nets. It's also about reliving childhood trauma. So the first 2 cycles of cards will be rotating out. Which are which cycles, Aaron?
That I don't actually know. It's been such a long time since I bothered looking at the names. Genesis and Spin?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Genesis cycle and the Spin cycle. So,
the birth of cards and a washing machine.
The Spin cycle. Yeah. Everyone in Netrunner is now going to stink because all they've put everything in the washing machine and everything's just sat going musty in a puddle of slightly soapy water. Yeah. No cleansing in the future. Only dirt. Wow. I wonder how long it's been since someone's made a spin cycle joke related to Netrunner.
Yeah, probably about 5 years.
Yeah. So it will have been 5 years since the first pack of Genesis. Genesis came out in December 2012.
Good God.
So there will be there's 120 cards roughly in a cycle. So there'll be 240 cards leaving the card pool.
Which is quite a lot.
Which is a lot of cards. And shakes up the game, the meta, the big game, the overall game, sort of the competitive side of things, and will probably also affect even people playing at home if they want to sort of stay current.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing stopping people just ignoring rotation completely.
Yeah, I mean,
playing what they like.
Yeah, they're not coming around your house and burning those cards.
And if that is you and you haven't got these cycles, they'll probably appear quite cheap fairly soon with people getting rid of their cards. Those cards may live on in the form of draft. So people might make draft cubes and things out of them.
Yeah.
I'm going to put mine in a box. Occasionally look at it.
Yeah.
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 Maybe just rifle through the cards.
I might frame them as the heyday of Netrunner.
I could. I'm trying to jazz the flat up at the moment. So we've been having a lot of trumpet solos and whiskey. Bom bom bom. So we've been. I've been putting things up on the wall. Things. Yeah, like a seashell.
Yeah.
I nailed the cat up there earlier.
Yeah. See what she hid in that bag.
Yeah. Things, not concepts. There's no sadness for my wall. Only concrete, actual things. Only that which has substance. Colin? Fuck me. Where did that come from? Jesus. If you could paper your house in any abstract concept, what abstract concept would you like to paper your house in?
Melancholy, I think.
Melancholy? Fuck off! You'd be dead within the week, surely.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, melancholy's not quite as bad as like depression, is it?
No, it's kind of. You can wallow in it slightly.
Yeah, you can almost be wistful at the same time, couldn't
you?
Wistfulness could be a good.
Yeah, that'd be
good
nice.
Concept. Yeah. What the fuck are we talking about? Netrunner, that's what we're talking about. So, what we thought we'd do is give you our thoughts on rotation, how it might affect other people who are in a similar position to us, so who haven't been playing Netrunner for the entire length of time. If you want to know that really sort of in-depth look into Netrunner, there's lots of other podcasts out there who deal with those kinds of things. I personally, my favourite Netrunner podcast is Run Last Click.
Same actually.
Who are halfway through going through sort of card by card almost, the runner side and then the corp side, and I have listened to their first episode, so I might steal some of their ideas. No, I won't steal any of their ideas. So we want to focus on what it means sort of for us, and be a bit more sort of a bit more personal about it, but also maybe just explaining some of the things that go with it. Yeah. So the reason it was kind of slightly controversial is that rotation wasn't meant to happen yet.
Okay.
It was meant to happen the moment that the first data pack of the next cycle came out.
Yeah, so you had one set of cards replacing a whole bunch of
cards. Yeah. So it was only one pack of 20 cards. Yeah. It wouldn't be quite such a drop off.
Yeah.
And this will probably be, as far as I'm aware, having checked and looked at it, but not trusting my own brain at this moment in time because I'm quite tired. I've walked 8.5 miles today. I will not be doing that again ever. I think if I walk less than that amount in the remainder of my life, I'll be happy. It's probably the longest gap that there's been between sort of cycles and products, because it will be, if it doesn't come out till next year, you'll have had I think, was it early August for the last pack, or maybe late July?
Yeah.
So we might count August.
Yeah.
August, September, October, November, December, nearly 6 months without.
Which is a long time for a game like this.
Yeah, and there was a period where nobody knew what was going to happen and what was coming out, and has kind of upset and annoyed quite a few people.
Which is understandable, especially if you're playing at a professional level, because you rely on those bits of news to help plan what you're doing. So especially with Worlds coming up, do you take the old cycles still? Do you take some of them but not all of them?
This is the thing, is that, you can't play Netrunner at a professional level because there's no money prizes.
Well, yeah, true.
But
not
like Magic the Gathering.
Not on the legal circuit.
At a Street Netrunner. The first rule of Street Netrunner is tell everyone about Street Netrunner. It's an amazing game with loads of fun and potential for high level play. I don't know. Kind of got lost in my own reference there. It's Worlds is not very far away, and people didn't, until very recently, people didn't even know what days Netrunner was going to be being played at Worlds.
Yeah.
Which makes sorting tickets in advance awkward.
Yeah.
you want a long period of time, as much time as possible, playing with the cards in the card pool that are going to be current at Worlds, so that you can have the best chance of doing well and to know your deck.
Yeah.
So if people didn't know if rotation was happening or not, because you're losing 240 cards, there were a lot of people that were like, well, I don't know what to do. Do I keep playing around with these decks? Do I make new decks?
Yeah.
Do I give up and play Magic the Gathering?
No,
you don't do that. But
I can understand the temptation. Yeah,
yeah. There's a bit of a theory going around. People think that Legend of the Five Rings, the new living card game, is kind of taking up all of Fantasy Flight's time. Whether you see that as being a natural thing of a company with limited resources, or whether you see that as a nefarious plan to drive people to the new game that presumably has a much cheaper license than the Wizards of the Coast one that Netrunner has. Also, Wizards of the Coast being a competitor for Fantasy Flight.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's
tinfoil hat time.
Yeah,
potentially.
you can. It's an understandable tinfoil hat at that point. I do think it's probably more. I mean, FFG are big, but they're not that big.
Well, they are owned by Asmodee, who are the biggest games company in the world, because they ate all of the other games companies and formed one super giant games company.
Yes,
with
that's true.
427 legs, I counted.
That's a lot, an awkward amount of legs.
It is. It does make it an ungainly beast, but when it finally breaks into a gentle trot, it is a thing of beauty. Genesis and Spin were released either side of the Creation and Control big box set, which was released in July 2013.
Yeah.
Genesis finished in June 2013 and Spin started in September 2013. Spin then finished in March 2014, and then 2 months later you got the Honour and Profit,
this is where you can see where again people's concerns are laid in. That's a 2 month gap, which is perfectly reasonable, and suddenly gone to 6 months, which again is probably perfectly reasonable with the amount of work that's going into this. But it's a frightening amount of time when you've been used to having a constant influx of new stuff. Yeah.
So the list of cards is slightly wonky. It's not completely sort of balanced. It's not like 20 for each faction, for instance, as a number I pulled out my arse, because that big box expansion was obviously planned for and was coming.
Yes.
And that box contained Haas Bioroid and Shaper. So you'll find that HB and Shaper might have slightly less cards that are rotating out.
Yes, it seems to be that
because this is the thing with the LCG, is that the game has to kind of work at every single stage, no matter where you are in a release cycle, because that's what people are playing. And therefore, to sort of balance the game at that point, the card pools were slightly awkward.
Yes.
If I knew how, I would research and see,
how many of each particular faction were released in the space.
What was left in number of cards. But that's a little bit beyond my being botheredness, really.
That's a lot of time.
But
you've got things like Wayland and stuff that probably had more cards in those cycles and do appear to have more losing because they weren't in those big box sets that were coming up.
So I think it's fair to say that at the moment there's a lot of uncertainty around Netrunner.
Yeah, definitely. Which,
I mean, I've seen people declaring the game dead.
I wouldn't go that far.
I think that's maybe a bit harsh.
Yeah, I remember seeing similar when I played Magic back when they started introducing the. They'd run 2 or 3 special decks, sets kind of thing, and then they'd rotate out every 3 to 9 months, depending on the time frame or change and stuff. And I remember people at the time going, "Well, it's pointless. I'm not bothering buying into something that's going to disappear out in that amount of time. It's dead, done with it." It didn't, because it doesn't, because it's got enough going on. But as a new player, I can understand the tentativeness behind it all.
And we've known about rotation for a while.
Yes,
but this is the first living card game to hit rotation.
It is.
Game of Thrones, in theory, reached that point earlier, but they got a 2.0 instead. They got a second edition of the game, kind of a re-scrub and start again. And I think there's been talk of sort of Core 2.0, so the second edition Core box.
Yeah, well, a lot of people seem to be thinking rather than that being a sort of a complete refresh, it's taking the best from those cycles and putting them into
adding them
core.
into the core.
Yeah,
which is interesting. I wonder how that would work for existing players. Sorry, because I don't own all the cards in those 2 cycles.
No.
I own some of them, even though I know rotation was coming up when I've wanted to build a very specific deck that requires certain cards. I have gone and bought some of them. I also got a friend who he bought a bunch of stuff and ended up with some extra data packs and was like, do you want these cheap? So like £7 each.
Yeah.
And for £7 it doesn't really matter that I wasn't going to use them for more than 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
You know, it's not that much money.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see why people are kind of, slightly nervous, slightly unsure, slightly uncertain.
Yeah.
But that maybe doesn't affect people who are just playing down the pub, playing at home, playing at your local gaming store on a Wednesday afternoon. Get a job. Whatever it is you might be doing, then it's different. But it does obviously very much affect those people who are playing at the high end, people that are playing lots of competitive stuff, who they're probably a minority of players, but they're probably the most visible and most vocal players.
Yes.
And that, I don't mean that as a criticism, like, shut up. It's because they're the people that are the most invested and the most interested. So, as a noob, then, someone who's only been playing for a year, I'm actually quite excited about rotation.
Yeah.
Can you hear? That's the sound of loads of people leaving. But let me explain. Come back, sweet listener, and let me regale you with tales. Because for me, Netrunner is really, really big. One of the big issues I had getting into Netrunner was the sheer level of complexity in the game, which has only increased because that was a year ago, so that was 2 cycles and a big box terminal directive ago. So that's added another 300 and something cards.
Yeah.
It's a lot of cards.
It is.
And it was very big a year ago.
Yeah.
And so for me, it feels a little bit like everyone's going to have to kind of relearn Netrunner a bit.
Yeah.
Because, as we'll see, we're going to go through some of the cards. We won't go through card by card.
No, but we'll pick the ones that most affect us or the ones that we know are very highly used.
Yes, yeah. Because you mentioned a card earlier and I was really sad because I didn't... someone had told me...
You wouldn't have built a deck using it.
No, I probably would have because it was a nice deck.
It was.
But someone's told me and I've scrubbed it from my memory because I really like that deck. Yeah. And we'll talk about that in a bit. But, my Jinteki deck will not be the same.
No. But yeah, so you're going to have new tactics. You're going to come across completely new ways of card interactions happening. You're not going to have...
There's a lot of crutch cards, very, very good cards, that are disappearing.
Yes.
When I say crutch cards, I mean cards that you find in lots and lots of decks.
Yeah. Well, there's one particularly that everybody has in their corp deck.
Yeah. Which we might even start with
that
card in a second. But for me, it feels kind of, it's a slight levelling of the playing field, I think.
Yeah.
And we're not expecting to suddenly be as good as those people who've been playing the game since day one.
No.
That's why we're going to get Legend of the Five Rings, Aaron, so that we can be those people.
Yes.
We can crush noobs for years in a slightly Japanese way, by apologising and bowing afterwards.
But not as low as they do.
Yes. Oh yeah. If they don't bow, then I will
eviscerate them
keenly. So, yeah, for me, I think it actually makes Netrunner more exciting.
Yeah.
And easier to get my head round.
Yeah.
Although, having played for a year with some of these cards, maybe I'm kind of caught in the worst of both worlds because those cards are disappearing, and I'd only really got used to those cards. I don't know.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, from my perspective, I haven't really been investing in much in the last year.
No, your collection is pitiful.
It is, yes.
Mostly bought by me for your birthday.
Yeah, pretty
Christmas.
much, yeah. Not because those cards are cycling out anytime soon. Those ones are going to be there for a while, kind of in the last year's ones. But almost because I think I've been waiting for the rotation to turn up, so I'm going, cool, this is what I've got to work with now.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with that, because I'm the same. I'm sort of slightly overloaded with the amount of options I've got.
Yeah.
It's why, if anybody's listened to our previous podcast, I think I went with Adam as my runner, because his pool was much more limited, what he could actually pick and use and
we
stuff.
do have a lot of influence to pick from everywhere else, but
you have to be very careful with it, so you're very focused on what works in a system, and I found that helped a lot more, at least get used to those cards. Unfortunately that deck's now dead, but
well, we'll talk about that definitely. We'll have a chat about specific decks maybe after we've gone through some of the cards. So I think one of the issues with Netrunner in its early days was what people refer to as agenda flooding, which is where the corporation draws lots and lots of agenda cards, which is bad. You only want a couple or none. You want to hide them away until you want them. If your hand is full of agendas, a run on HQ will cause trouble. Because they might just start picking points out of your hand. You obviously need some ice to protect you. If you then start installing them, you run the risk of them being run on.
Exposed.
You're playing a very dangerous bluffing game. Fairly early on. And if you overdraw and then ditch them in archives, you're kind of good. Until they run on archives and then win the game. Because they've just ripped loads of points out. And that was a kind of maybe a balance issue with the game. I mean, it's partly down to sort of the random number generator kind of thing. It doesn't happen every game, but it can happen quite a lot. And it would be even more prevalent now because of cards like Temujin Contract, which a lot of people will just throw on archives because you don't want to waste an ice defending archives. And then they run in and steal loads of money. If they run in, get loads of money, and then I've just won the game, hooray for me! So one of the ways to, or probably the first real way to deal with it, agenda flood, it was the card Jackson Howard. Jackson Howard is kind of like, I feel, the card that you see the most in Netrunner.
I don't,
apart from maybe Hedge Fund, Sure Gamble, and a couple of the other kind of
quick money generating ones.
There's a few staples in the core set that have remained, but I have the one thing I have to do. I'll often have multiple decks made up. And the one thing I have to do between those decks is take 3 Jackson Howards out of one type of sleeve and sleeve them in a different card and put them in to the other deck. That's what I often do if we're having a few games down the pub and I'm like, I'll play a different corp. So Jackson Howard is kind of like the big thing to rotate. And it's probably the best place to start.
Massively, because it affects so much of the meta.
Well, it became safe. So the thing with Jackson Howard's really, really good because he does multiple things. So the way he protects you from agenda flood is that he lets you, as an instant action, so it can happen in the middle of a run, you just remove him from the game and you can take 3 cards out of archives and shuffle them back into R&D. So you can safely hide some agendas there. And do it. And even if they run him to try and kill him, you can just pop him and do your thing anyway. And they go, oh, there are agendas over there. One of the reasons I think Rumour Mill, a more recent card, was much maligned is because it turned off Jackson Howard and people were like, oh my god, it's scary. So it's quite almost like a peek into the future of this post-Jackson Howard world that we will be playing in.
But on the other hand, the fact that it's such a... You've got this one card to protect you from this particular thing that happens, that, happens the way the game is set up is going to happen occasionally. It would be nice to see some variety in that. because everybody knows how to deal with Jackson Howard, or that if Jackson Howard is seen and you've got your deck set this way, you can't. You just have to accept that's going to happen.
Yeah. And I think one of the reasons, I mean, for us only playing for the last year, NBN has been quite powerful within the sort of the meta game, and I think part of that is because they almost get the 3 free influence because they can just include 3 Jackson Howards and not have to pay 3 influence for them.
Yeah.
And one of the most awkward deck building decisions isn't do you take Jackson Howard, it's do you take 2, do you take 3?
Yeah. So it'd be nice to see them put something neutral in potentially, because they know it's a problem.
There are now some other cards coming in to replace Jackson Howard, but they're not as powerful. And the reason that Jackson Howard is so good is that it also does something else. Yeah. So he lets you draw, for a single click, he lets you draw 2 cards. These are 2 great abilities that really should have been on 2 different cards. Yeah. I think
for its influence cost.
I mean, because everyone has access to him, it's fine. It's not like we're playing a CCG where people selling their children into slavery to buy another Jackson Howard. Yeah. But the fact is that if you're not agenda flooded, he's still really useful.
Yes.
If you have one and you're not flooded and you're good, you can recur other cards. You can recur your economy cards if you're short of money. Yeah. You can use him when someone makes a run. So, it's going as well, but I've been playing a few decks recently that use indexing. So run on R&D, see the first 5 cards, put them in any order you like, where you put the agendas on top and you run again. Yeah. And then someone triggers Jackson Howard, shuffles 3 random cards out of archives into...
Just fuck all that up, yeah.
Yeah, and goes, do, right, doesn't work. It messes with lots of other things as well. Yeah. Being able to sort of quickly draw cards is very, very useful as well. Yeah. So there's been lots of there's other things coming out to do it, but aren't as powerful as him. And I think people are trying to work out what they do without him. I think there's a fear that agenda flood might come back as a big scary thing.
Yeah, which is understandable, because that's in all honesty, kind of a crappy way to lose. The draw has made you lose that game, not any tactical decision you made. Yeah. So yeah, being nervous about that is perfectly reasonable and understandable, and have to find a way around it. Doesn't need to happen, but I'm interested in seeing what they do about it. They know it's an issue, so they will be putting other stuff in there, and it might make the game again give it a bit more jazz, go something more interesting again. You're not just going, right, that's Jackson Howard is doing this.
Yeah. So there are other cards that will let you do that. Springing to mind things like Architect. Unless it's on the list.
Don't think so. I
don't think it is. This is the thing, being slightly newer to the Netrunner and podcasting scene.
Yeah, it doesn't just instantly come to
It's not like, I remember when that came out. It's like, I remember buying that with 14 other data packs at the same time when I got paid. Yeah, so you've got things like Friends in High Places that let you install cards out of archives, so you can do a little bit of that, but you have to do it on your turn.
Yes.
Things like Ice can obviously be avoided, so it's a bit more of a risky strategy. It's going to be interesting. I'm not super fussed, because my favourite runner in all of Netrunner, if you listen back to our very first episode, ding, there's the link if you're on YouTube. Hopefully we remember. Sometimes we don't. Is Noise. Yeah. I love Noise, who is the core set Anarch runner who makes the Corp ditch cards out of R&D straight into archives. And I remember realising that Noise was dead the first time I encountered a Jackson Howard.
Yeah.
Because 3 Jackson Howards let you put 9 cards back in.
Yeah.
The other thing I like to do with Noise, because it works with viruses, is to use Medium, which lets you dig through loads and loads of cards in R&D, and again you can sort of mess that plan up in that you can use him the other way you can use Jackson the other way to bulk out R&D with stuff they don't want.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm quite excited to play Noise again. Although some of his good viruses go away, so I don't know. So that's probably the biggest thing, is that agenda flood issue might be a thing again.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell at this point, because there are lots of other cards, I said, that let you kind of do bits of it.
Pieces,
but I don't know. It could be a thing. Might not be. But definitely it's one of those cards that almost every deck has Jackson Howard in. He's probably rotating out because he's retired, because he's made so much money freelancing for all of the corps.
Yeah.
Good for him. The creepy man. Yeah. Have you read the book that he's in?
No, I've heard that.
You've heard that
it elevates his sort of.
He's slightly unpleasant.
I kind of got that from his pictures, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, his picture is mildly sinister, surrounded by sort of toys and kind of evil Disney kind of way.
And his promo one's even worse.
Yeah, the promo card is really super creepy.
Yeah.
Borderline Jimmy Savile.
Yeah.
But he appears in Monitor by Lee Alexander. It's kind of it kind of shows just how iconic, how much of a part of Netrunner he is. That he's one of the characters that appears in the fiction.
Yeah.
And it'd be interesting what they do, because as such an iconic character, do you just let him go?
No, you need to do something with, because they've done it with. They're doing it with other characters. They're doing something special for them.
Yeah,
wasn't the rotation out?
Yeah, so we'll come to those in a second, because they're probably the other big changes. I think.
Yeah.
So
he needs a send off. He can't just go, cool, he's just not doing it anymore. There needs to be some. I know it's only fluff, but that fluff is really nice with the Netrunner universe. So there being some kind of in-universe event that makes him leave New Angeles or stop working for the Corps or whatever would be really interesting.
Yeah.
And would give him the kind of credit it deserves for the amount of work that card has done for people.
Yeah. Now, because we lose Jackson Howard, that, as I mentioned with Noise, makes the idea of milling the Corp out more powerful.
Yeah.
What's the ultimate Corp milling card, Aaron?
It's not medium, is it?
No. You can kind of do it with medium,
you can do it
with medium and demo runs.
I'm not sure, you know.
I'm talking about a card that the first time I encountered a deck built around this card, I almost quit playing Netrunner. It was a rainy November. Not the whole of November. Rainy November night in our local pub. And I think it was November.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it seems like it. It was last year sometime. And they'd released the Worlds 2015 or the Worlds 26. They released the cards that won Worlds.
Yeah.
They released the Worlds decks. And Joe, who is one of us who's not here, is in the bath.
It's dissolving slightly further now, but
yeah, the cat's shouting at him. Cat loves the bath. Don't ask. Data leak reversal, colloquially known as DLR. Your face, you pulled a.
Yeah, I suddenly remembered that cunt. Yeah.
Yeah. So, DLR, data leak reversal. You have to make a successful run on a central server. You install it, and then your opponent cries. You have to be tagged for it to work.
Yes.
And what it does is it allows the runner to spend clicks to mill or to discard from R&D straight into archives cards of theirs. So it's free to install, Aaron. It costs nothing.
Yeah.
You just have to make a successful run on a central server this turn. A lot of people run archives in the first or second turn if they're using this card. This is an Anarch card. Probably should have said that. One influence. A lot of these naughty cards are only one influence because they then get splashed all over the place.
Which makes it a bit more balanced,
yes.
Really.
Yeah.
Well, from the side...
It makes it harder to balance them because they can interact with lots of other cards in the card pool all at once.
Yeah.
But if you're tagged, Data Leak Reversal gains, click the Corp, trashes the top card of R&D. Yeah. There's also lots of cards that basically let you get tagged. So you can tag yourself, and there's various ways of getting yourself untagged at the end of the turn.
Yeah.
There's also lots of ways with things like Wireless Net Pavilion and Fall Guys to protect the Data Leak Reversal itself from being destroyed, because if you're tagged, it's a resource. It could be sent away.
Yep.
I hated playing that deck because
Yeah.
I have a thing, and you'll find this as a thread meandering its way through our podcast. I don't like solitaire style decks in Netrunner.
Yeah.
The thing that appealed to me about Netrunner was the bluffing aspect.
Yeah.
Is it a trap? Is it an agenda? It's the interaction. It's the I'm going to run here because they've got this many credits, so
They can only afford to do
they can only afford to do this and this, or if I've misjudged that, if they do something, or I've forgotten the eye. Oh, they've read something and I wasn't expecting it. Oh, I've been punched in the face. And it's that kind of that risk taking, but also that kind of that interaction.
Yeah.
You're making decisions based on what the other person's doing, and then you're forcing them to make decisions.
Yeah, makes it a very reactive game.
Yeah, playing games like Magic the Gathering, quite often you're just going through your deck, putting down your army, and then going, and everyone attacks. You take 7 damage.
Yeah.
Oh, you take 4 damage, and it's not that interactive.
Yes.
In Netrunner, for me, what I like is when you care about what the other person does in their turn.
Yes. Yeah.
And
so you invested.
Yeah, you are. You're involved in the game.
Yeah.
It stops me drifting off and just staring out of the window and thinking of times past. Times past, Darren. What's your favourite time past?
Normally 5:10, I think, has always been quite a fairly happy.
It is actually, because you've normally just finished work.
Yeah.
And have you ever had a 9 to 5 job?
Yeah.
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 Okay. I'll let you off.
Well, 9 to half 5, but
okay.
It's coming up on time. Or
Did you ever do any work between 10 past and 5:30 when you worked that job?
You know, you normally wander around and check some emails. Yeah, you don't really do anything. Yeah, so it's a nice time. It's the twilight of working.
It is. You can taste your home.
Yes.
What would your home taste of, Harry? We're getting lost in
bullshit.
Yeah. So I really don't like data leak reversal decks.
No.
And I'm really glad it's going away.
Yes.
And I hope it goes away, stays away, and never comes back. But it does fulfil a part of it is a part of the game. Mm-hmm. It's a part of the game that you plan around. It's a part of the game that you work to. I think Jackson Howard kind of balances it out a little bit, because that's 9 clicks worth of milling. Yeah. Unless they mill all your Jacksons. That's what we should have called the podcast.
Milling a Jackson.
Milling, yeah.
Milling your
Jackson. The Milled Jackson podcast.
Yeah.
Which would now be completely irrelevant.
Yes.
And so by just going, it's about Netrunner, we've actually future-proofed ourselves inadvertently. I'm still annoyed. Just over a year ago, apparently I was talking to Jamie, who's also not here. Maybe he is, or he's just really quiet. And we came up together with the greatest Netrunner podcast name. We were really excited about it, and to this day I can't remember what it was. Sometimes
you write everything down.
I was playing games at the time at the Den Gaming Cafe.
Yeah.
Who we went to a long time ago. Ping if you're on YouTube. Yeah. Synergy. We are cross-leveraging our content.
Yes.
That we have created. So I don't like DLR. I'm glad it's going away. I'm really happy.
Yeah. But there are a lot of people that are upset about it, and it's understandable. But I'm in the same boat as you are. I played, I think Joe let me play it and showed it against you at one point. And I went, this is really dull. I don't enjoy this. Yeah, but you've won. I was like, yeah, but I didn't do anything. I just put some stuff down. Cool.
Yeah. Whereas some people go, I won. This is amazing because I won.
Yeah. Well, don't get me wrong. There's times when that is lovely, but
yeah, it's why we're not the competitive gamers of our group. The really super.
Yeah, we don't want to.
We didn't go to nationals. We sent Joe to nationals.
Yeah,
because that's his kind of gaming.
Yeah,
and that's cool. That. Yeah. So it might be a shame for people that like that kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah.
But for me, it makes me more likely to want to go and play at things like that, because there's less what I term, this is my term, and other people have used it, but that kind of degenerate deck that for me doesn't feel like Netrunner.
Yes.
And I just don't like playing.
And
when someone starts setting up that bullshit, I'm just like, okay.
And championship players tend to be inundated with that sort of thing because it works.
Yeah.
It's perfectly reasonable. It's what works. Go for it. But yeah, it makes it less fun for newcomers, really.
So that's another sort of meta shaping removal. One of the most broken, that's horrible. One of the places you're very, very likely to see DLR is in a criminal Andromeda deck. The archetype known as Andy DLR. The reason Andromeda, Andy, and trying to shorten her name further becomes difficult. The reason that was is I still think it's quite a popular deck. I've seen it I've seen it in the wild several times.
Yes.
Even in our short time playing, is and Andy is still very much considered probably the best criminal ID.
Yeah.
Because she lets you start with 9 cards.
Yeah.
That was so shocking that Aaron had to have some asthma medicine.
Yeah.
It took your breath away. 9 cards, Aaron.
It's amazing.
9 whole cards. Why is that amazing, Aaron? Why is it so good to have more cards? Surely you're just going to ditch some.
Well, it gives you more options when you start, which is you can get completely stuck even when mulliganing without mulliganing.
Crazy Netrunner. God, yeah. Fucking hell. No one who listens to this is old enough to remember, I'm sure.
Yeah, so you can get completely stuck with that. And
yeah, well, because you've got a mulligan, essentially you get to see two sets of 9 cards. You almost kind of get 18 cards.
Yeah.
If you're looking for those combo pieces early to get you started, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
If you want DLR in turn 1,
yeah, with some full guys prepared for.
If you've only got a 45 card deck, for she is a 45 card deck.
You've got.
She also gets 15 influence,
which is
standard.
Yeah.
Maybe if they did her again, she'd get 12.
Maybe
to kind of put a squeeze on her.
Yeah.
Shaper have recently had a card that's very, very similar. Ayla Bios Rahim, who gets 4 cards as like an extra that she installs on her NV RAM.
Yeah.
So she gets like a little sideboard essentially. If you're familiar with other card games, sideboarding is a thing where you got other cards you can bring in and out. But she gets 4 cards that sit there, and then she can spend clicks to just pull them out when she wants. And they're kind of safe because they can't get like net damaged away, or there's some corp cards that let you mill out the runner's deck as well and make them discard their cards. Not as many as there is the other way.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that feels more balanced. She's 45-15, but she has to spend clicks, and you draw the 4 separately.
Yeah.
That seems like they've taken the Andy idea and kind of toned it down a bit.
Yes.
Because Andy is sort of very, very powerful. You still see a lot of Andy around in the competitive scene.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never played her personally.
No.
I played against her a lot.
Yeah.
And it just felt like we've had people playing that in our group. Joe's a big fan of criminals, be they smooth or hirsute. And he kind of kept building decks and going, this would be better in Andy. This would be better in Andy.
Yeah,
this would be better in
for
Andy.
ages.
Yeah, because apart from really Gabe, who can make you loads of money.
Yeah.
She's definitely the one standout in criminal, I think, and the one whose ability is the most kind of like that Schroeder Cole.
Yeah.
So she's going.
Yeah.
She's not the only meta-defining identity to go away.
No.
Who else is going?
Wizard.
Thank
yes. Fuck.
Go on, tell me about Wizard, Aaron. Go on.
I don't know Wizard that much, to be honest.
No.
I've not actually played against Wizard very often, but when I've watched the tournaments and things, it's almost always Wizard versus Wizard, Wizard versus whatever corp it is, and then the other player is playing Wizard versus whatever corp that person's playing. He is the standard one everybody goes to, and that's dull.
Yes.
In my opinion, anyway. Again, I understand it from a competitive standpoint. It works. Fucking use it, but
Yeah.
it's not very entertaining to see because you're not seeing different matchups. You're just seeing the same deck.
Okay, so if I take a look at the results of the World Championship 2016,
Yeah.
the top runner decks that are there, we got top 16. How many times do you think Wizard is in there?
10.
1, 2, 3,
Ooh.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Aaron, you genius. Were you looking at the same stuff as me earlier?
No,
Madness.
not this thing. It's just
Bang on. So, like more than half.
yeah,
52. No, more than that. That's wrong. But yeah, lots of
yeah.
lots and lots and lots. How many of those do you think are in the top 8?
It's not all of them because I think there was a random couple that got in, so 6 out of them.
There's in the top 8. There is one non-wizard deck, which is Benny, the lovely Bayokin, who we interviewed at Nationals. Ping on YouTube. Go check it out. He played his min-max deck.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
The other 7 people at the top all played wizards.
And like you said, again, from a new player's perspective, you kind of want to see your favoured runners and corps playing often, and it's not very entertaining to see the same stuff over and over again.
Madly, it's more diverse than the corp side.
Yeah.
So the corp side, guess how many MBN decks there are in the top 16?
12.
No.
16?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh. Yeah.
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 I'm trying to remember the name of it now. It's only one MBN thing, isn't it? There's only one.
There's
identity.
CTM controlling the message.
Okay, so the 2 on that list then.
So that seems to be the popular one.
Yeah.
There is Near Earth Hub.
Oh, okay.
Which I've played a Near Earth Hub deck.
Yeah.
It's brutal. Lots of killy death. I quite enjoyed it, but I don't think other people do. There is CTM is tanks and stuff.
Yeah. Which always screw things
up. Near Earth Hub is gives you faster draw basically.
Yeah.
Every time you make a serve, you draw a card. So the first time each turn.
Yeah.
There's some sync in there as well, some sync decks,
which
make tanks harder to remove.
Yeah. Okay, so there's a little bit of variety, but they are all MBN because.
Yeah. So there's all the MBN all the MBN and NBN NBN. So 72% of the top 30% of corp decks.
Yeah.
That's a complicated statistic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Were MBN, and 66% of the top runner decks were Anarch.
Yeah.
That, to me, doesn't suggest a game that's in a healthy, diverse place.
No.
That suggests to me a game that is sort of struggling.
Yes.
To have multiple viable ways to compete.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that the death of Wizard is part of that. We haven't actually explained what Wizard does for those who are uninitiated. No. He gives you 3 recurring credits each turn that you can use to trash.
Well, that was it, yeah.
Enemy stuff.
Yes.
Enemy? Corp stuff. Let's use the proper term.
Which doesn't sound like that.
3 recurring credits is amazing in Netrunner.
Yes.
It's a lot of credits. I think if they did it again, they would reduce it.
Yeah.
And one of the routes, one of the big routes for the corporation to win is to play what's called an asset spam deck. So you play lots and lots and lots of assets.
Yes.
Lots and lots of servers with lots of things, and he lets you clear that out.
Yeah. Which is understandable because asset spam is a thing that people are now worried about.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the stuff that counters that kind of thing are going.
You go in, you can destroy your opponent's drip economy engine for free.
Yeah.
You can trash Jackson for free if you come across one in R&D.
Yeah.
ping it straight into archives. Get in a bin, Jackson. Get in the sea, you pedo muppet. That's maybe a bit excitable. But yeah, you can see that he's very much defined the game. He was considered rubbish when he first came out. I have read from reliable sources. Yeah. But as the meta has changed and the game has changed and assets became more and more of a thing, he became more and more powerful. I think we're living in kind of the golden age of asset spam now. Estelle Moon. Have you come across Estelle Moon in your games yet? Yeah. But you're an HB player.
I know.
So you should be happy.
I should be, but I don't use Estelle Moon.
It's interesting because we're talking about Jackson Howard he does two things. Estelle Moon, and like that wouldn't happen anymore. No. Estelle Moon does two things. She draws cards and she gives you money.
Yeah.
At the same time, and she's also one of these things that, like Jackson, that you can. Once she's got a load of counters built up from her from installing other things, she gets counters. Once she's got all these counters built up, if you go in to trash her, she can just be trashed by the corp.
Yeah.
And they get her ability. It goes off. It can fire at any time. If it was like click to trash Estelle Moon and get the thing, she'd be fine.
Yeah.
But she really, I feel she's quite nasty. So when I say that Jackson Howard these days might be two cards, maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah.
These cards seem to come along that are just like really, really good. Almost in a everyone needs to buy this data pack kind of way.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a thing.
Clever business sense.
Maybe it's the tinfoil hat.
Yeah.
Slightly tarnished. Smelling slightly of bacon. Delicious bacon. So that's a thing.
Yeah.
Wizard is going away. Not only is Wizard going away, Aaron, what else is going away that goes with Wizard?
I'm not sure actually.
You mentioned him earlier. We were having our
Imp
pre-discussion. Imp, yeah. So Imp lets you trash cards for free in exchange for virus tokens.
Just coming up for a thing. Oh, and Scrubber.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, you're big.
So Scrubber goes away.
Yeah.
And that's not so good.
No.
So it might... Scrubber giving you 2 recurring credits to trash enemy things. Corp things.
Yes. Which again, sheer asset spam stuff is gone. Bye-bye.
Yeah. So your asset spam might become more powerful.
Yes.
More stronger than ever before.
Yeah.
More all-consuming. I don't know.
And I've come across decks that in the tournament we played was one of them was just pure asset spam. Took up
that was an NBN deck, wasn't it? Yeah.
Took up the entire table with assets, just everything possible, and it was just him going. I can't remember where I put stuff. Well, actually, no, he could remember exactly where he put stuff. He played it very beautifully, actually, because
was this Pete?
Yes.
Hi, Pete. Like Pete.
He was like, I'm being quite mean by doing this. So if you run on something and see it, and you can't remember where it is because I'm moving stuff about and stuff, and you're going to run it again, I'll tell you. Yeah. So you can choose somewhere else. And I was like, cool, okay. I'm still going to lose, aren't I? And he went, probably. Because he'd seen me play in the other games, that'd be terrible. But,
no, he's just very good.
Yeah, and he's really nice.
Again, ping it on YouTube. Pete won our first store championship that ever took place in at the Hobbit Hole, our friendly local gaming store that is like 20 miles away, but like an hour to get there through the fens. You have to like swim through a bog, fight a giant spectral dog, make your way through some kind of druidic portal.
Yeah, do a couple of fetch quests on the way as well.
Yeah, it's very difficult to navigate the fens. Ironic, because you can fucking see for miles because there's nothing there, but that nothing includes a lack of roads.
Yeah.
Because you live in a windmill in the country, Aaron.
Yes, yeah. And it's 20 minutes away by the crow flies.
Yeah.
It's 45 if you drive it.
Get a crow, mate. That's what I say. We should breed some kind of giant crow.
Yeah. I've always wanted to be Gandalf, flying giant birds places. So.
Yeah. So that's again something that shakes up the game, something to plan for, something to think about.
So the meta is massively changing because of these things.
Yeah. So that's a thing.
Yeah.
Anything else you think is really big? I've got a couple little bits and pieces.
Those are the main ones I noticed. I'm sure there's other stuff there that I've just not remembered the name of properly because, again, I'm the newest of the newbies. And
so one of the things that's going away, and there are other cards that do it, so it's kind of fine, but there's going to be less of them.
Yeah,
is multi-access cards.
Oh yes, yeah, there is.
So cards that let you normally when you access a server, you access a card. Maybe if it's installed and stuff, and there's upgrades, you get those as well. But generally, you get like one card. The first cycle, first couple of cycles added in cards such as HQ interface.
Yeah,
access 3 cards.
Yep.
R&D is it 3? Is it 2? I may have just farted out my mouth.
I thought it was 3. I'm sure I've used it.
No, it's 2.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Cool. Never really used HQ interface. I have used R&D interface loads. I really like R&D interface. R&D interface. Excuse me. R&D interface again lets you access 2 cards, so it doubles the value of what you're doing.
Yeah.
They are going away alongside Nerve Agent, which is a virus.
Never come across Nerve Agent, to be honest.
Have you not?
No.
I never bought it, but I have proxied it a few times, just not against you. So when you make a successful run on HQ, place a virus counter on Nerve Agent. I had it in my noise deck because when you install it costs 3 to install.
Yeah.
You get to mill a card. Yay. Place a counter on Nerve Agent. Each virus counter after the first on Nerve Agent allows you to access 1 additional card from HQ when you access cards from HQ.
Yeah.
It is the HQ version of Medium.
Yes.
But Medium is almost exactly the same wording.
Yeah.
Each virus counter after the first on Medium allows you to access 1 additional card from R&D. Medium is a core set card. Nerve Agent isn't.
Yes.
So that kind of mixes things up a bit.
Yeah. Means your hands HQ's a bit safer at that point.
Yeah. You lose a shaper card indexing, which I've used quite a lot. I described it earlier. You get to see the top 5 cards of R&D.
Yeah.
Put them in any order you like.
Yeah, I've used that plenty. Yeah.
I like indexing.
Yeah,
it's really good.
Yeah.
Especially in the current meta where you have Mad Dash. Fuck me.
Oh yeah.
So now we have a game where Mad Dash exists. So you put an agenda on the top, then you Mad Dash back in, get an extra free point.
Yeah.
There's also a current that gives you, when you score a point, score any agenda points, you get a free point.
Yes.
Which is easier to work around because you kind of see that it costs more and stuff. There was a nice bit of synergy there that's now died.
Yeah. Plasticrete carapace is going.
Yeah, so this is something that heartens me as a someone, and if you go right back to the beginning, my desired play style was to play noise, make all your stuff get infected and drop into archives and make you laugh, make you cry, make you laugh, I'll make you cry. My name is Brian. And I wanted to play Wayland. I wanted to murder people, Aaron. I wanted to kill them. I wanted to find where they live. I don't want to go down the internet and kill them. I want to go around their house, punch their mum in the face, and then knock them off.
Yeah.
Not knock off her mum. That's different. And Plasticrete Carapace, again, very early card that allowed the runner to absorb damage. Because Killy Death was very powerful in core.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of toned back with that. That's going away.
Yeah.
It's a bit sad.
Yeah. Katie Jones is going. Katie Jones has always been fairly useful.
Katie Jones, yes. She has a really cyberpunk name, doesn't she?
Yes.
Because she doesn't have an E at the end of Katie.
No.
She has Kati.
Yeah.
She's kind of like a weird kind of like Ponzi scheme investment thing.
Yeah.
I've seen her about plenty.
Yeah, again.
I'm not judging her, but I've seen her about a lot.
But I've used her quite a bit in most of my runner decks. She's been very useful for the Adam deck I had built as well.
Yeah, she's a nice card. I think there's lots of other ways to make money these days.
There is, yeah.
But yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Prepaid voice pad. So the prepaid Kate archetype that dominated early Netrunner. I hear from grizzled denizens of the net who are more code than flesh these days.
Yeah.
They tell me that was a big thing.
Yeah.
Jamie liked a bit of prepaid Kate.
Yeah.
But like 3 years after it was really good. You said that your Adam deck, Aaron, was dead.
Yep.
What is that, buddy?
Okay,
What happened?
Okay.
Tell me how he died.
So, Plastic Creek Carapace is going.
We need to put some sad music.
Yeah, the background
Yeah.
is. So, yeah.
So you like to wrap your android in armour?
Extra armour, yeah. Because he can... Yeah, so...
I know you really like the way Adam, like, as a character,
Yes.
is what appealed to you.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was... That was what intrigued me, and... I wanted to do something different from everybody else, so I went with the neutral things. And the directives was one of the things that really intrigued me. It was an interesting way, and finding ways that made them work for you rather than against you.
Yeah.
Now, one of those forces you to have 2 less cards in your hand.
Yeah.
At the start of the turn. Now, I've got plenty of stuff in my deck that will still be there and be fine. That will give me massive boosts to my hand.
Yeah.
So I can hold practically my entire deck in my hand by the end of the game.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, stuff like Plastic Creek Carapace kept me nice and safe. So something I always look for very early on.
Yes.
So
because...
Killy Boom Death and having to make runs on the first... As your first run, made up and put me at a lot of risk of that.
Yes.
There was also the E3 feedback implants, which made that first run I could click through stuff as a ability on that. So you come across an ice, you can click through to get past the first piece of
it's the first subroutine, and then you pay a credit because E3 feedback implants
just allows you to pay a credit to break other subroutines or something you've already broken.
Yeah, once you've broken a routine, you get to spend a credit break for each one.
Yes, and it made...
It's a really good card.
Yeah.
And I used it a little bit.
Yes.
It's quite good.
Yeah. I mean, you have to have your deck set up in a particular way, but it was nice for those decks that have got smaller selections of breakers.
Anything that's got...
Or expensive breakers.
Anything that's got weird stuff like pay 2 credits to break 2 routines.
Yeah.
It gives you that extra one in the middle.
Yes.
And then anything that letting you click through is good. I think I saw it quite a bit in sort of Faust decks. So you discard a card to break the first subroutine.
Yeah.
And then you spend credit to break the rest.
Yes.
So you don't have to worry about running out of cards, having to massively overdraw,
Yep.
that kind of thing. You can kind of budget. You can budget in a different way for it. Yeah. So, glad that's going.
Yeah. But it's part of the sort of the integral part of my Adam deck to make it work, particularly the early stages when he's most vulnerable and those cards are gone. Now there's stuff I can replace it with, but from what I remember I picked those generally because of slightly smaller influence cost, allowing me to have a slightly higher influence cost on cards I needed for better stuff, and they're gone by me now. So is Adam. I don't think I'll be playing anymore.
Bless. So I do think that for me, the idea of Plascrete, I think there's other ways to protect yourself.
Definitely.
But it's not so much a splash, but you'll still see it in criminal decks.
Yeah.
So that going away. I've got another card I hate that I'm really glad is going away.
Yeah.
Just on the runner side before we move over. And that card is Keyhole.
Oh, yeah.
I fucking hate Keyhole. And the reason I don't like Keyhole is because of its combination of it's Keyhole Eater is the combo.
Yeah.
So you use Eater as an AI that breaks things really, really cheap, but doesn't let you access cards at the end of it.
Yeah.
But what's the point of that, Aaron? I hear you cry. Well, let me tell you. You combo it with Keyhole. You click Keyhole to make a run on R&D instead of accessing cards. So you're not accessing cards anyway.
Yeah.
You look at the top 3 cards of R&D. You trash one. And the corpse shuffles R&D. I've had games where I've had to sit there shuffling my deck and let people just like pick all my shiny toys out and throw them in the bin.
Yeah.
And then just go and run archives and pick it out, or just mill me out, or just frustrate me to the point. It's very frustrating to play against.
Yes.
I've never used it myself for moral reasons. I'm quite glad it's going away. I don't really enjoy playing against Keyhole Eater decks, but that's a personal thing. Again, there'll be people out there that are like, oh my god, the sky's falling.
Yeah.
Why is the sky falling? That's how they sound, these Keyhole Eaters.
Yeah.
Keyhole Eater sounds like a really obscure insult, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Yeah, you fucking Keyhole Eater. Tonguing its iron crack. It's too
Rusty
far,
Iron Crown.
Ah, too far. So that's going away.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it makes a lot of cards I've been playing recently have anti-AI ice
Yeah.
deployed randomly about just to stop Keyhole Eater, because it's a very powerful combo. I've seen whole decks built around it.
Yeah.
Lots of times, because Joe was playing loads of Keyhole Eater.
Yeah.
Like a Keyhole Eater. There's a card I really like that is widely renowned to be shit.
Yeah.
But I like it, and it's going away, and it makes me sad. I like the art. I like the fact it's a virus, because it sits with noise really well, and it was my main icebreaker du jour.
Yeah.
Before I realised that it probably wasn't very good.
Yeah.
And it just took too long to build up. Which is Darwin.
Oh yeah.
I like Darwin.
Yeah.
It's got a whale that's got legs on it, like it's evolving because it's Darwin, and it gets stronger the longer it's left, so it gets better.
Yeah.
It's quite a nice little, it's a nice name. It's got a nice link to it. I just like the feel of it. It's a really cool card. I use that as my main breaker in my noise deck for ages when we were very new.
And he did do a lot of.
It was really good when we were new.
It's not so much now.
No,
but
because I used to find lots of ways of throwing loads of tokens on it and boosting its thing out. The really good thing about it is that it's 2 credits to break an ice subroutine, but its strength is as many virus tokens as it's got on it, and you can combo it with other cards, so it can have like ridiculously high strength.
Yeah.
At which point you're not paying to boost the strength of your icebreaker, you're just paying to break downwards.
Yeah.
So certain things it was really cost effective, but it could break anything in the game pretty much.
Yes.
Because it's an AI, so it doesn't break a certain type. So it was really, really useful.
Yeah.
And I really liked it, and it's going away, and I will miss its weird face that's kind of got teeth, like unpleasant teeth, and it's kind of dribbling. Actually, the more I look at it, the less comfortable I feel.
Yeah.
I like Darwin, so I'm going to miss Darwin.
Yeah.
And I find another podcast that's going to miss Darwin. There's a challenge for you. You see, we're not the same as everyone else. Yeah. So, moving over to the other side then.
Yeah.
Hello from the other side.
No.
I took your plastic carapace and you died. No?
Yes.
I like how I convinced you to change your mind on that one. That's great. So, yeah, we now have... we're now just taking a look at what we're going to miss. There was something you said straight away from HB.
Eli 1.0.
Yeah, we love a bit of Eli. Eli's really good. It's not the card I'm happiest to see. I'm being really negative.
Oh no! What you're doing is going. These cards were bum, made things difficult.
They're not bum.
No, the good
They're
cards.
good cards,
Yeah. But they
as a wee
always
nipper
appear.
in Netrunner terms.
Yeah. Again, it's one of those things. Those cards almost always appear, so you can put things in place to block against them. But there's less of that reactive gameplay. Then. Yeah.
A card that for a HB card that I'm quite glad to see go away because it does all sorts of bullshit. Is accelerated diagnostics. It's part of lots and lots of combos. They've kind of died now. But you used to be able to power shutdown. It's a different card that let you smash all of your cards away. You then, with Jackson, 3 times, you'd put 3 cards on the top of your deck. You play an accelerated diagnostics, which lets you play the top 3 cards of your deck. Any operations get played for free.
Yeah.
And you could do all sorts of crazy things with accelerated diagnostics. It's going away. They kind of nerfed it when they FAQ'd power shutdown. Jackson Howard is part of the combo as well.
Yeah.
But I'll always have a little special black part of my heart that will not like it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it's going away. But that's just me. Yeah. The next sweet takes a punch. No next bronze.
Yes. Which they all work off each other from what
They
I remember.
do. The next ice. So every time you res a next ice,
As long
you
as-
make the other next ice more powerful in some way.
Yeah.
whether it's extra strength or extra subroutines or that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So next bronze, +1 strength for each res piece of next ice. So it's a barrier. It's a code gate. Strength 0. Cost 2 to res. So you're like, what's the point of that? But then if you've got 5 other bits, it's strength 5.
Yeah.
Oh, it includes itself as well. Each res piece of next ice, so it counts itself. So it's always strength 1.
1, yeah.
It's like, I love me. I give myself strength.
Yeah, and it was kind of an integral part of anybody who built the next deck-based ice decks.
Yeah, if you wanted to build your deck around that, it's cheap, cheerful, still gets better.
Yeah.
And it ends the run. It's a code gate that ends the run, which is not more a premium than barriers.
Yeah.
Mostly barriers that have
the
got to end
strength
the run.
boosting thing was always useful, and especially if you only needed 1, and then you can make up your deck with all the next things and other fancy bullshit.
Yeah, and it would then power the other ones as well.
Yeah.
For 2 tiny little credits. Yeah. So that's going away. It's a bit sad.
The blue and green level clearances are going. I've seen a few decks using those on a fairly regular basis.
Because you're an HB player, aren't you? That's your poison.
Yes, it is.
I played quite a bit of HB. I quite like HB.
They are the deck we use mostly in our local meta.
Yes, there's quite a lot of it. There's a lot of it about now.
Yeah.
Because of Estelle Moon and other bits and pieces. You seeing quite a bit of it come back. Miss Eve campaign. I just quite like Eve campaign.
Yeah. Yeah.
NBN pop-up windows, one of my favourite bits of ice.
One of my most hated bits of ice. Just because it's irritating.
It costs nothing to res. Gives you a credit when they hit it. Yay! I've used that in all sorts of stuff. It's nice to have economy ice that gives you money. I quite like it.
Yes,
I've splashed it in because it's very cheap influence wise to splash. I've splashed it in all sorts of different
it's a good
decks.
card. It is a good card.
So I quite like it. Sweeps week.
I've heard a lot of people upset about losing Sweeps week, I think, if I'm remembering correctly.
Sweeps week is interesting because it's NBN.
Yeah.
NBN. Boom, 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 boom. Gain a credit for each card in the runner's grip. There are a few There are a few decks that build big hands. Like some kind of anti-Jeremy Beadle device.
That's awful.
It's awful, isn't it?
Anti-Trump device. He's got
small hands. Updating it.
Yeah.
He's like a double Beadle, isn't he? Oh, I feel horrible for saying that. That's really mean. I should shut up. There's that. There's always, Andromeda's going. There's always a delicious moment if you're playing against Andy and you pull a Sweeps week out in the first turn or 2. Because it only costs a credit, so you can get +8 credits.
Yeah.
Probably one of the most powerful economy cards in the game in the right circumstances.
Yeah.
That's going away. Just realised another card.
Yeah.
Bit scatty today. That I'm glad to see go from the runner side is Blackmail.
Oh yeah. I meant to mention. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was. I hated that card.
Alongside lots of Wayland cards, the ones that let you get rid of bad publicity, they're disappearing. See, I've linked it in. You can cut all that. It kind of works. You Blackmail. If the corp has bad publicity, they can't res ice against you if you play Blackmail.
Yeah.
I played against decks where you just didn't get to res any ice as the corp because they just had Blackmail and they recurred it and they recurred it and they used it and they used it and they used it and they won the game. DLR Blackmail. So they make a run that you can't res ice to install the thing. They then do their shenanigans and then they make another run with another Blackmail to get into archives to pick out the 7 points.
Yeah, just complete bullshit. And again, it shuts the whole game down, so there's no interaction, no fun.
Yeah, you're just there as the corp going, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Which is why I favoured a lot of I'm going to kill you decks. Because I get to do stuff to the runner. Even if they turn up with a little solitaire piece of bullshit, I get to murder them in the face.
Yes.
So I'm quite happy with that. So again, an insight into my... I do feel like I'm being really grumpy. I think the big thing that's changing for the corp side is the loss of the 3-2 agendas. So agendas that can be scored after 3 advances and score you 2 points.
Yes.
They're probably the most powerful and bestest agendas in the game.
Yeah.
And we are losing Project Vitruvius.
Yes, which is fairly useful.
Which I've used a lot in
HB. So it's all
in
my
HB.
Yeah, it's always
You can only use agendas in their core, but
Yeah,
when
yeah.
I've played HB, I've used it. I always want to say HP. It's a much saucier corporation. You keep shaking your head at me today. We're losing Project Atlas, which is the 3-2 agenda for Wayland.
Yeah.
Project Beale for MBN.
Yeah.
And for Jinteki, no.
So yeah, here's where some of the unbalanced stuff may be coming in then.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not all the 3-2s. There are others.
Yeah, there are others and such like, but we're losing them as options.
Yes.
And I think that kind of it changes the game again. It reduces some fast advance shenanigans.
Yes.
Because you can't just gain yourself an extra click.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 off you go. Which reduces the amount of time that the agendas are available to be sniped out by the runner.
Yeah.
Because biotic labour and 3-2s is just great because you play your biotic labour, you then install for your free click.
Yeah.
You get advance, score.
Yeah.
Off you go. Sorted. Bonza. So yeah, kind of glad they're going away a little bit. Because just maybe from a fast advance was very, very much a big thing.
It was,
especially in tournament play because you've only got a limited amount of time to play the game.
Yeah.
So you're looking at quick wins, and I think maybe Shaper might benefit the most from this.
Yes.
Because they're the slowest to set up. They're the best when they are set up.
Yeah.
But they tend to be quite slow to get going.
Yeah.
Or at least I found that in my experience.
Yeah, generally the shape decks I've seen have rarely been quick.
Wayland are losing a lot of those removing bad pub things, but maybe bad pub isn't such a bad thing as much anymore. It's not really been explored much, bad publicity.
No.
It's not like it's like a key part of the game a bit at the beginning when we were playing it, and then I couldn't tell you the last time I had a bad publicity in a game.
Only in the tournament we played, and there's one.
Yeah, I played Valencia, who gives you one for free.
Yeah.
And then she blackmailed me.
Yeah.
But I still won.
But yeah.
Yeah. So.
But Wayland appear to be losing the most.
Yeah, Wayland have a huge amount of cards that are coming out.
And they're already underpowered.
Yeah, Wayland are kind of weak. But if all their cards are shit, then it don't matter if any of them go away.
True enough.
I wouldn't say that all Wayland's cards are shit. I don't mean that. I was being flippant.
Yeah.
Hyperbole for effect. But yeah, there's some good stuff there that's going. I like Oversight AI. It's a nice way to get a nice big chunky ice going.
Yeah.
Especially if you're playing Blue Sun, because you then destroy the ice and take all the sweet money.
Yeah.
There's quite a few like iconic cards that are going. Like Jackson Howard, we said was iconic. Wotan.
Yeah.
I've got deck protectors with Wotan on.
Yes.
So it's something that they've tried to push as being a big thing. I'm going to definitely feel Jinteki rotation.
Yeah.
I've been playing. I love Fetal AI. Because I love the it's creepy as hell.
It is. Yeah.
It's like Jinteki almost feel like horror in places in some of the bits and pieces that they do.
Yeah.
And Fetal AI is definitely a big part of that for me, where they've got the baby with his brain plugged in, and it's really horrible, and I love it. It's so weird. But the idea of agendas that protect themselves, I like.
Yeah.
They've got their new agenda that protects itself. So it's kind of been replaced.
Yeah.
So, but it's been replaced. It works slightly differently.
Yeah.
So 5.2.
Yeah.
Which is weird as fuck. Yeah. I struggle to think of another one. To the internet machine. Typing the word fetal into the internet. This could be dangerous. Yeah, it's a 5.2. It's 5.2. You don't get a lot of 5.2s. Don't get a lot of 5.2s. Which is kind of shit of it. But it's not really. And in fact, it's got double protection. Because it does net damage when it's accessed. And it can actually kill you. The new one can't kill you. But also you need to pay 2 credits. So if you bankrupted them before, it's sort of, they've got to take the damage and pay some money.
Yes.
So that's good. All it's missing is lose a click, and then it will have just taxed everything that you have as your kind of economy.
Yeah.
Trick of Light is a really nice card that lets you shift around. You can move advancement tokens from one card to another.
Oh yeah.
Which I really like, because I love to advance traps, but if you advance a trap and no one falls for it, you've just wasted your life.
Trick of Light was always nice to put in as a backup.
Yeah.
Cool. Right, there we go. Agenda done.
And I've recently been playing a deck. I think I talked about it last time. No, it might not be last time, but when we talked about, we did a Jinteki thing, and then we realised that doing a guide to each faction was a really dumb idea when rotation was coming, so we stopped.
Yes.
I really enjoyed doing that, and I played loads of different stuff. But I'm going to miss Ronin. I really will miss Ronin. I murdered you with a Ronin.
Yeah.
Oh, really, really recently, Aaron.
Yes.
And I loved it.
You made a deck of death horribleness that kind of... There was a big grinder there that you could push people into.
Yeah, well, the deck works by... it's called 3 More Ronin. And I love Mushin no Shin. Because, again, it's a card that requires interaction. Yeah. So you play it, it costs you 2 clicks and no money. You play a card down, you put 3 advancement counters on it. You can't score it this turn. So you can't use it to get those 3 2s.
Yeah.
But what you can do is use your other click to put a bit of ice in front of it, or to advance it again. Whoa, the mind games! Why have they done that? And using the Show of Force 3 More Ronins, you can score Show of Force, which does 2 meat damage, and if you play in Jinteki Person Evolution, an extra point of net damage, because it that's their ability, that's what they do.
Yeah.
Don't need me to explain that bit. A Ronin has to have 4 advancement counters on it. You can then res it, trash it, do 3 net damage. So it became lots of different ways for you to kill the other person just by advancing your own agendas. Part of why I said I like my own sort of killy decks, so I can actually threaten the runner and force them to do something that isn't just sit there and do their own.
Yeah. They have to come in and check stuff and try and defeat things. And
Yes.
Yeah.
So, fun. I like it. I like it.
Well, I hated playing against it, but at the same point, I also liked playing against it because it was interesting. It was funny.
I've played it too much because in our local group, if I play that deck, everyone knows what I'm doing now. But if you play a stranger with it and they're not expecting it, it can really throw them.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun to play with strangers sometimes.
Not anymore, though.
But I would say that's probably not the most important or the most powerful Jinteki card to go. That card will probably be, in my humble opinion, which is right and correct in every way, Caprice Nisei. Caprice Nisei is a dick.
Yeah.
And I love her.
Yeah.
I really like her haircut. And I really like her fluffy bonsai trees. Possibly because I've been eating a lot of broccoli recently, and they look a bit like broccoli. If you look at the card, what else are you going to do with it now? Paper your walls with them.
Yes.
I could do a little display of cards. It'd look shit, wouldn't it?
No, if you did it properly.
Oh no, it'd look shit then. I don't have any skills. But yes, so when the runner gets into a server that she's installed as an upgrade in, she can then force a side game, and if they don't win, then they get kicked out.
Yeah.
It's an absolute pain in the backside.
Yeah, side games are always a nightmare.
I was playing I didn't play you with this one.
No.
Recently, I played an Ag Infusion deck. I have played you with Ag Infusion, but not that one.
Yeah.
I played an Ag Infusion lockout deck that made it really, really hard for you to... when you ran on somewhere,
Yeah.
First of all, Ag Infusion lets you burn off a card. It's very new. It's only just come out. It's cutting edge, high tech quality. You can trash an unresed ice instead of resing it and move them to a different server.
Yeah.
So you can then couple that with some grids and with some currents that make those runs cost even more.
Mm-hmm.
And then they run out of clicks and can't get in.
Yeah.
The other way it did it was when if you don't have enough ice, or it's because like you've got 6 other ice in front of it and you don't want to spend loads of credits to put it in front, you just install a Caprice Nassau as well, and then they get in, and then you go, no, you failed your side game, get out, you've got no clicks left, can't get the agenda that's quite clearly there.
Yeah.
Like it.
Yeah.
I'll be sad that she's gone, but I think she's really, really good.
Yeah.
You don't see her splashed much because she costs 4 influence, so she's very much a Gin Techie thing.
Yeah.
But she's a really good Gin Techie thing.
Yes.
I really, really like her, and
Yeah.
I want to have her robot babies. Oh, she's not a robot; she's a clone.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Then.
She's the first clone to serve as an NAPD detective.
Mm.
That's her flavour text. Bland. That's what it tastes of. That's the flavour. It's all right. It's like a Ron Seal thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
God, that's an old reference as well, isn't it? Yeah, it's a bit unfun, I think, in play at times because you're like, I did no, I didn't do the thing. I got to do the thing again.
Yeah. It's a
really,
frustrating thing.
Really good late game card when you're trying to score out that final agenda and they get in and then you go no, and they go, I got no money left.
Yeah. Then it's funny, I think. In my opinion, coming across. That's really frustrating, but yeah, clever because you've done it right at the last point. Doing it early on, it's like, no, just being irritated now. Yeah. But yeah, I'm not from an opposing player. I'm not sad to see it go.
Yeah.
But it is a nice card, and there's not a great deal that use side games. There's a few, and again, you're losing a bit of the extra bits that.
Yeah, I mean, I thought at one point they might be possible to do like a really side game focused deck.
Yeah.
You can, but they're not like a huge thing.
No.
A bit like Bad Pub. They were like, it was big at the beginning.
And then it's kind of
died off. Yeah. I'm trying to think of any recent cards that use side games. If you can think of any, dear listeners, send us a message. We will send you a biscuit. In fact, we'll send you 2 biscuits because they come in packs of 2. Yeah, I'm just looking through anything else I've used or enjoyed. NAPD contract is another agenda.
Oh yeah.
That will probably be missed in certain builds. Again, it's an agenda that protects itself. You have to pay money to steal it. And it has a link with bad publicity. You're seeing a theme in some of the early cycles of Netrunner. They've obviously gone, oh, we've done that now.
Yeah.
So maybe actually some of these mechanics that were played around with early on, but then they haven't really come back to, there's now a space for them. So we might see more side games. We might see more. Protecting agendas and things like that.
Yes.
We might see these things sort of come back around. More Bad Pub, more this, more that. I doubt we'll see more 3-2s.
No.
They seem reluctant, don't want to include them, but they might think actually the game is balanced at the moment round having 3-2s. Have some new ones. Maybe 3-2s that don't give you extra bonuses if you over advance, which is what
like Project Trees.
These ones all, they have that thing. They might just be 3-2. You've got some points, but I don't have a biscuit. So that's kind of our hodgepodge. We've missed some really important cards. I don't doubt it.
Oh yeah, of course.
But we're, as I said, right back at the beginning, 1,000,000 years ago, when we were young. When love was a battlefield. No?
No.
Oh. Cyberpunk is 80s. That's an 80s song. It's relevant. It's not a tangent. It's more of a lumpy growth. So what do you think, Aaron? What do you think about the game? Is this enthusing you to play more Netrunner, or is this making you go, Netrunner's dead, I hate it, I'm going to go live in a bin?
No, not at all. I don't understand why people. Well, I suppose I can. Just people frustrated. But
I get the frustration at the lack of news.
Yeah.
There seems to be gaps now and I think it could lead to, especially for Worlds, because Worlds is a big thing, you know, especially if you're travelling there from. I mean, even if you're not from that part of America, America's massive.
Yeah, you sort of spend several hours on plane. Yeah,
you can. It can cost you a lot of money to go. If you're travelling from Europe or the rest of the world, it can be really, really expensive. And I'm slightly. There's a little bit of me that's like the meta's going to be a bit wonky and a bit weird.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting what comes up as how there's no answer to this now, because once the Netrunner community get on it, they're going to, they're gonna go for it. They're gonna find these things. It's what happens. It's that thing of you make a computer game.
Yeah.
You get your 100 playtesters to play it. They find no bugs. 1 million people play it, and immediately the bug that has a 0.001% chance of happening happens to 10,000 people.
Yeah.
1,000 people.
Yeah.
Not many people.
Yeah.
But enough that if they all go on the internet and say about it, it causes a huge problem. And with Netrunner, it's not like bugs. It's I've just found this crazy thing. I've won a tournament. The list gets published.
Everybody plays it
because it has to be.
Yeah.
When you play competitively, people look at it and go, "This won a tournament. Oh my god, I'm stealing it." Mm-hmm. Oh, and if you add this other card in, it makes it even worse.
Yeah.
And there's not really much of a season to play before. The lead up to Worlds has been played in a very different meta game to what Worlds itself will be played in. And I think that is frustrating for people because they're not able to follow through on their ideas.
Yeah. Like from a watcher's perspective, that makes it much more entertaining. Because things are going to be weird and different.
Tuning in and watching a bit of
it's going to be like, cool, what's going to go on? But yeah, from a actual player at Worlds perspective, that's incredibly frustrating. I'll be tempted to throw the game in at that point. But from a newbie player's perspective, I mean, it's held me off playing a lot of Netrunner recently because I'm like, cool, I don't want to get too invested in anything in case that's going out and when's the next thing coming in. I just want to sort of dick about rather than actually invest in
we've
stuff.
not really touched Netrunner for a few months, but I've played a bit here and there and kept our hands in and such like, but I haven't had a new runner deck for ages. Actually, I've still got my smoke deck that I built in May kicking around.
But when the new stuff turns up and everything, or when the stuff gets cycled out and the rotation happens, I think that might enthuse me to play more because suddenly I'm having to think differently again. And it's completely changed the game and it becomes a new thing, and I don't have to worry about that cycle happening like 2 weeks after I design a deck now. I know when it's coming up. It's fine.
Honourable mention to Chaos Theory. Chaos Theory is dying. Well, Wizard got blown up by Doom.
That's
Andromeda is on the lam and has taken off her hair to reveal different hair. Oh my god! It's like she's a different person. Because that's how you judge women. They get a haircut. You don't know who they are. But men don't notice haircuts, so surely everyone in her life who is male is just going to go, "You all right, Andy?" Don't know. Anyway, leaving the 70s for a second. Chaos Theory's dying. I just wanted to mention her not dying. She's rotating out. Her dads have run out of money. I liked Chaos Theory as a character. I don't think she's particularly good as a card.
No, it wasn't.
The extra memory's quite nice. Would have been really nice early on with Magnum Opus, because it lets you have Magnum Opus and your 3 breakers without having to find a mem chip or something to do it. So it's just quite nice that way.
But fluff wise, she was interesting.
Really interesting, and like Dinosaurus is really cool. And I like the fact that she had dads rather than traditional patriarchal family norms. Ology, Aaron. It was interesting. It was just.
It symbolised all the interesting things about the Netrunner universe, really.
Well, it's kind of
character
extrapolating on, isn't it? There are other formats of Netrunner that can be played. So we saw the 1.1.1.1.11.1.1 format where you get a core set, a big box expansion, a cycle, and a pack.
Okay.
1. which has kind of been replaced by cache refresh, which is slightly more restrictive. Mm-hmm. It's all big boxes and one thing. I don't know. Brain goes. I haven't played cache refresh.
No.
And then you might end up with a game that has legacy formats. Mm-hmm. So you might have a legacy Netrunner that's like, here's all the cards.
Yeah.
Which you get with things like Magic.
Yes.
You can just go, let's just play Magic with all the cards.
Which tends to be insane and broken, but funny because of it.
Yeah. And you can like combo a card from 1993 with a card from 2017. You
can show off your Black Lotus again, you know. Yeah.
That sounds naughty, mate. You've sickened me. But yeah, for me, going back to what we said right at the beginning, and cut me if I'm meandering, stroke repeating, it will refresh Netrunner. It will either make it really good again, and really interesting, really exciting, kind of mix up, as like we mentioned as we went through, it kind of got a bit stagnant.
Yes.
And the same old things were coming up, but not same old thing, but the same old things. Humour. You've got all these different ways of playing that are changing, and different new gaps in the game, and new ideas maybe where you're trying to do old things but slightly differently, and maybe discovering new stuff. But it could also be a thing that puts a lot of people off. It could be a thing that upsets people. So if you're a Netrunner player, please let us know what you think of rotation. What do you think? How's it going to play out? Has it put a skip in your step and a stride in your meanderings? Or has it made you want to choke yourself to death on all those cardboard counters that come in the box? While shouting, why? 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 It's just really fun to do that. I don't know what it sounds. I bet it sounds horrible.
It sounds like a tiny gremlin.
I can do that because I tried to do like a gangster.
Yeah.
Shut up, Dick Tracy. But it just comes out like a goblin.
Well, it sounds like a gangster goblin at least.
Gangster goblin.
Yeah.
The Gangster Goblin podcast. That would have been good as well.
Would, yeah.
On that circular note then, if you have enjoyed this, please feel free to subscribe. We'd love you if you did. We don't just talk about Netrunner. We talk about other board games, or card games, or tabletop games. We also talk about video games from time to time. We do videos on YouTube. We do podcasts all over the place. iTunes, SoundCloud, Podcast Addict, I found out the other day.
Yeah,
we're on there. It's good, isn't it? It'd be nice to hear from you. Tell us what you think about rotation.
Yeah.
Cool. So thank you very much. He's been Aaron Ravinsky.
And he's probably been Brian Ennis.
Maybe, secretly. I shall rip off my own face to expose... back end of a cat? I don't know. Another face. Well, hopefully, to expose the bones of my skull glistening with blood.
The desiccated black hole that exists underneath.
So we'll probably be back in about a month with some more Netrunner. We'll be back in a week with something else, whatever we decide to talk about next. It'll be good though. It'll be fun. We'll try to put jokes in and stuff.
Yay.
And puns. I like puns.
You do.
I do. I really like just endings that just sort of trail off,
just meandering,
like kind of anticlimax. Anticlimax sounds like some kind of sex worker relative. Bye.